Welcome to How to Share, a podcast that celebrates sharing what we've lived and learned. I'm Wynn Leon, and in this episode, I'm with author Mario Cartaya. Mario has written a touching and insightful memoir, Journey Back into the Vault. Mario tells us how his family's rushed departure from Cuba as a 9-year-old left him with a vault of childhood memories that he couldn't unlock. Journeying back into the vault chronicles his return to Cuba 56 years after that departure. Mario shares stories from his 1-week journey back to Cuba that helped him unlock the memories in that vault. We talk about how so many magical moments unfolded as he visited the scenes of his childhood. We talk about the close-knit sense of community in Cuba. Mario tells us about the Cuban diaspora and how the pain of separation affects families on both sides. Mario tells us about his current project chronicling the historic friendship that the US and Cuba once shared. Mario is a wonderful guest who delivers a strong sense of hope for whatever divides us and a reminder that we can all work to find our own inner peace and deliver it to this world. I know you'll love this episode. Hi, Mario.
Hi, Wynn. How are you?
I'm doing so well. I'm really looking forward to this conversation because you have written a beautiful memoir, Journey Back into the Vault, about your quest to unlock the memories of your Cuban roots. Can you give us an elevator pitch and tell us what the vault is?
Okay. My departure from Cuba as a 9-year-old was very traumatic. That was in 1960. My father was taken from his office and then pulled into detention where government rebels began to berate him for not handing over his accounting books with all of his American clients' properties in Cuba for confiscation.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, his life was not taken, but he was given an opportunity to leave the island. So a few weeks later, we left and we came here. Meanwhile, if you can imagine me as a just turned 9-year-old worried that on the drive to the airport and out of Cuba, perhaps he wouldn't make it. It was very traumatic. And so now 56 years go by. During all those years, I began to wonder why it was that I would never think or stay in any conversations about my Cuban life. 56 years later, I realized I know who I became. I became a well-known architect, but I don't know who I am. Because without the memories of those first 9 years, you don't know the totality of who you are.
Right.
So I decided to go back and try to find those years, hoping that the stimulus with the places that were synonymous with my childhood would bring those memories back.
Right.
What I did not know was that the path to my missing childhood memories would lead me to a subconscious vault that I once built to protect me from exactly what I was now looking for. My journey back would then become this incredibly beautiful roller coaster of every possible emotion.
Right.
Extraordinary events and colorful characters that I met along the way. So this book then narrates that trip. It narrates the ups and the downs. It narrates my longing to repair what was the torn tapestry of my life. And along the way, I found a peace in my heart and a soul at rest that I never knew that I needed so much. My trip then became a vessel for peace that is desperately needed in today's world, and that's why I wrote it.
Mhm. It is beautiful, and it makes so much sense because as a young child, you do need to your focus was on integrating and assimilating into the situation that you found yourself in, right? And you had then but you did have to leave your family behind. I mean, in that really dramatic departure.
We talk a lot about the political differences,
Hmm.
but no one talks about the diaspora. The worst of what happened in Cuba was the separation of families.
Hmm.
For the first 20 years that we were here, um, you couldn't go back. They couldn't come to you. You would hear of your family's passing only through telegraphs,
Mm.
not even phone calls, because
Wow.
they weren't allowed. And so it was a time of separation, displacement
Hmm.
that was very painful for a child growing up. So I think all that reinforced the vote.
Yeah.
Every time that I did go back, because something happened, it was always more of the pain.
Hmm.
Now I lost my grandfather that I lived with.
Hmm.
I lived in an extended family with my grandparents and my uncles and my parents and my nanny.
Right.
Right, it was a beautiful time of laughter and exploration
Yeah.
with a very fun family
Yeah. Well,
who loved
and
the art and music.
And you can feel that reading your book. You can feel your close family, the close knit community. One of the things that struck me was just also just what a close knit community Cuba is, not only in your families, but in your story of, reaching out to Fidel Castro's son, whose ex wife happened to be a kindergarten student of your mother's, and she, you went to a wedding together and she remembered you. I mean, that's just one of those things that's like a little unbelievable. Like that's so close knit. And do you think that's what made those memories so powerful for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I went back hoping to get back my memories.
Yeah.
I relived them.
Hmm.
What happened to me when is they say that the last time you remember anything, you're really remembering the last time you remembered it.
Hmm.
In my case, because of the vault,
Yeah.
I had not remembered anything about Cuba for 56 years. So
Hmm.
when I go back and the stimulus begins to return
Hmm.
these memories, they come back as if they'd happened the day before.
Yeah.
You know,
You
I
have a beautiful passage about that. You say, it did not take long before childhood memories from when I lived in my former Sevillano home started to return. At first, they revealed themselves as a trickle of black and white still photographs, continuously gaining speed, momentum, and volume, until eventually evolving into the long forgotten Technicolor movie Reels of My Life, beautifully awash with emotions, contexts, and sounds that once defined my days growing up here. It made me glad to
imagine
be
that.
back home. Yeah.
Imagine you feeling what you felt when you were
Hmm.
6, as in
Hmm.
my memory of the first time that my grandfather said, Mario, that means you love me.
Hmm.
And I felt that tickle when I
Hmm.
went back in the garage where that moment happened. I
Right.
felt that tickle that I felt back then, or going into my school and somehow opening the door to the same fourth grade classroom
Hmm.
from where I left
Yeah.
56 years before quietly, so
Hmm.
nobody would know and insult me, right? It was incredible. It was one of these things where the subconscious took over.
Hmm.
I was moving around Cuba based on where my subconscious took
Right.
me.
Right.
Imagine living to your subconscious, not your conscious,
Yeah.
for a week.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful experience of reliving
Yeah.
your
And
childhood.
then all the events that lined up to support that. I mean, you really were so richly rewarded. I was struck when you were looking for that home, and my dad says to you, Mario, don't give up. No one ever demolishes a house in Havana. Continue looking around. It's got to be here somewhere. And you did. You found family. You found places, all based on those childhood memories and instinct.
And I found what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
While I was there, something inside me kept saying, "Go sit in the balcony,"
Mm-hmm.
because that's where my bedroom was.
Right.
Go sit in the balcony. Yet the new owner of the house, was telling me, "Don't go upstairs because my mother's in a bad mood
Mm-hmm.
and she has a headache. You don't want to be around her."
Yeah.
So I finally said, "Can I just sit in the landing?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Sure." So I went up there and I sat, and then I relived the day that my father asked my extended family for permission to leave Cuba. And all of a sudden, I saw myself. I saw my 8-year-old self sitting next to me. And I realized, okay, that's what brought me here,
Yeah.
was me. I brought me to this place
Right.
so I can relive my childhood.
Yeah.
That's when I realized it. Why that place? Because that's where my Cuban and American lives diverged.
Yeah. Right.
Something did not diverge with me, and that was my little
Mm-hmm.
self in here.
Right. Right. But and the sense of that there were sort of people there to receive you is so strong too. Like in your other home, you write, Hector gave me a long look, smiled broadly, walked through the gate onto the sidewalk next to me and said, Mario, Cartaya, Mateo, I have been waiting for you for a long time.
Think about that.
That's amazing. That's just amazing because he had been keeping your grandfather's house for
Well,
all those years,
it's
right?
a house where we all lived, the last house
Mm-hmm.
where we lived for only a year. We didn't think that what happened was going to happen. So we bought
Yeah.
it just a year before we had to leave. And
Yeah.
since we left so quickly,
Yeah.
you know, the idea was we're going to leave everything behind.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come back, it's all here waiting for you. Well,
Yeah.
we never went back.
Yeah. Oh, just heartbreaking. So you went back after 56 years. I know that was mostly controlled by geopolitics, but do you think that was the right timing for you to find that inner peace?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2016, Cuba was doing very well,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to all the years beforehand. The Obama rapprochement had given the Cubans this hope that things might change that they never had before. So we were welcome. The
Mm-hmm.
Miami Cubans, the Americans, really the whole international
Mm-hmm.
community was welcomed in Cuba because of that hope. So
Mm-hmm.
everywhere that I went, I was received as a brother.
Mm-hmm.
I must have heard that name 100 times. Brother,
Right.
brother, you're one of us. Glad that you're here. This
Yeah.
kind of a thing. It
Yeah.
gave me the comfort to be able to not worry about where I was
Mm-hmm.
and relive the difficult year where we left
Mm-hmm.
and concentrate on K.
Right.
Things have changed. The demons are gone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now I can move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think as you go through those memories and you talk to your friend George, and you talk about whether your father would understand that you need to go back there, and George reassured you that your father would understand, and you said to him, "You would have liked my father. He had a big personality fueled by a great sense of humor. He had a way of making everyone around him feel special. And I got the sense that you have that same personality."
Thank you so much. And that's an honor and a compliment
Hmm.
to hear that, because I thought that my father was just, he was just the it.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't isn't that wonderful? Isn't that
Yeah.
wonderful? So, you had this really interesting observation that you went back to and thinking about your experience. But as you continued your journey there, it sort of flipped to thinking about what the Cubans and everybody that had been left behind experienced. Have you been back to Cuba since your
Yeah.
trip?
I was there in 2019. I
Hmm.
took my family the
Hmm.
second time I
Mm.
went back. And that was another wonderful trip. It
Hmm.
was another wonderful trip. And along the way, you got to speak to a lot of Cubans.
Yeah.
And they all told you the same thing. I have a cousin, I have a son, I have a father, I have a loved one in the US that I miss. The story of the baseball fan in the Paseo del Prado, this old man, older than me. That makes him real old, right? And I'm walking down the Paseo del Prado wearing my Almendares baseball cap that only one person had recognized.
Yeah.
And I hear him go, Almendares. So I immediately went to him. We had a couple of hours, ended up being best friends. And he told me,
Yeah.
I come here every day and I sit in this bench every day because this is where my wife and I would bring my kids to play during the day, and we will watch them play. Now my kids are in Miami. They don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And my wife passed away. So I come here to remember. Broke my heart when.
Yeah. Yes.
By the time I almost felt like the guy's son, and he's telling me this.
Yeah.
That's the diaspora. That's the separation of family. For every Cuban that misses the family they leave behind in Miami, there's a Miami family missing the family member that came here. It cuts both ways.
Right. But you write so beautifully about that little interlude with your new baseball friend. When you got up, he said something like, I haven't spoken about the Sugar Kings or Almendares baseball teams with anyone for a long time. Thank you for this beautiful afternoon. You have no idea how much I needed this.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
And the fact that I gave him my time.
Yeah.
And I gave him attention. And I sympathized with him. And in the end, we hugged.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful 2 hours.
It's healing that divide, just one conversation at a time, right? I mean,
we're all human.
Yeah.
We all have the same needs.
Yeah. So tell us what you're working on now.
Oh, I'm working on a very special project. I spent last year researching in the Library of Congress, the US Library of Congress, data on anything Cuban and American related from 1860 to 1960. And that data led me to one realization, that during those 100 years, there was such a tight friendship, cooperation, investment, respect between Cuba and the United States that I had never heard of, read about in any book. And I decided to take that information and write the book. The book is called 100 Years of Friendship, US and Cuba, 1860 to 1960. It should be published later this year. It's already in the editing phase. So pretty soon, I think it's going to be out. And believe me, it's just a beautiful book of a friendship that very few people knows about.
Right.
It warms you up to perhaps what could happen should there be a change in the way that they run the government in the island. If it happened once, why couldn't it happen again?
Right. And I think projects like yours help bring that along. Remembering the past and hoping for the future.
Well, that's all you can do is be a vehicle and hope that people ride along.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for this conversation and your beautiful book, Journey Back into the Vault. I just, both are just so heartwarming, and such a pleasure to talk with you.
Lynn, thank you so much for your warm interview. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for listening. Our music was written for us by the incredible duo of Jack Campora and Rob Koenig. For show notes and more great inspiration, see avitiva.com, avitiva.com.